Hi guys, and welcome to Jagster Reads. Today we are taking a look at r/entitled parents. Stepmom steals my dad away from me. This is going to be a pretty emotional story to write, but I need to let it out. I'm 17M, and this story takes place a few years ago. My dad got a new girlfriend in September of 2019. We thought this was great, and everyone was happy because he was pretty lonely. When we met her, she was great. She was funny, liked messing around, and was just a nice person. On Thanksgiving of that year is when the first odd thing happened. She talked about how she just left her last husband because she didn't like him anymore. She fully left the state and didn't even divorce till she was forced to. On Christmas, we were all playing around with our presents, as kids do, and she all of a sudden starts yelling at her kids for playing with our stuff, which was permitted to use, and started pulling them by the ear. This caught everyone off guard, and my mom told my dad that he might want to be careful with her. Then February came around, and it was a normal weekend. Me, being the annoying big brother I am, decides to steal a Skittle from my sister. I know this was a pretty rude thing to do, but I was joking around and gave it right back. She starts yelling at me for how rude it was and how I should be nicer to her. This threw me way off guard. She started yelling because I took a Skittle. She then sent me to the corner with one leg and count to 100. This is extremely odd because no one in our entire family gives physical punishments. Meanwhile, my dad is just standing there, and my sister is trying to explain that it was fine. Later that night, I threw up, and for a very long time, I thought I was just sick. Turns out, it was a reaction to the trauma I had when I was a baby, where my bio parents starved me, and my brothers and got us in trouble for eating. That's a story for another time. When I was being told about this, I also learned that since I was adopted, another story, my parents agreed that I would never receive a punishment for food ever. This is why I threw up. My brain remembered the trauma and reacted to it. What made me mad is that my dad just stood there when he knew about this deal. After that event, we weren't told this at the time, but we didn't see them for a very long time. The story above was part of why. In August 2021, we started to receive counseling, and in September, we started seeing our dad again. He promised he had changed and that EM was not to give punishment to me or my sister in any way. We started rebuilding our relationship, and for a good month, it was good. Then 2 days before Halloween, my brother gets sent to the psychological hospital for allegedly destroying the house and bad behavior. This was hard on us, but he had been aggressive in the past, and so it wasn't the hardest to believe. He got out on December 10th and was once again admitted on January 3rd. This was because he had gotten very aggressive and angry when he found out he didn't get a PS5 for Christmas. Not a single person believed this. During this period, his dog was taken and put down and had been locked in his room for 2 weeks, only allowed to leave for the bathroom. They then had student-parent meetings. In this meeting, EM, the girlfriend, verbally admitted that they locked him in his room. This immediately started a CPS investigation. During this time, he was once again admitted to the hospital. This time, it was because, and I quote, punching her kids, threatening to kill everyone in the family, hit her, and attacked the neighbor's dog. By this point, everyone knew she was crazy and tried talking to my dad about it. His parents, his brother, his sister, us kids, my mom, everyone told him that he was being manipulated and she was crazy. He didn't believe any of it. While my brother was in the hospital, he told the doctors about everything that he'd been through. When he was released, he said that he would rather be in the hospital than go home with EM and my dad. This is when he started hitting the car and yelling at EM. She would grab her boys by the ear and make them throw away their stuff if they got in trouble. My sister and mom were told every weekend that she needed better clothes and that my mom was mentally abusing us. Weirdly, I was treated amazingly and nice, and I was never talked about badly. We were also gaslit all the time. When they went to court for the investigation, she claimed that I threw the plate at my sister, and then every other accusation I've said. In April, my dad ripped up and burned my brother's adoption paper. My mom had a copy, and told him he wasn't allowed in the house anymore. He stayed at our house for a little, and then we had a court hearing that gave me the right of my brother to live with my aunt. He got counseling and we started seeing each other again. My dad was told by the state and the trauma therapist that he was not allowed any of our information or to see us ever unless he agreed to get counseling. Have EM out of his life, and if we agree. She got rid of my older sister, then worked on getting rid of my brother, starting with his dog. She then moved on to my sister, and then she got caught, and now they live in Minnesota. My dad still believes that she's a good person, and that we were in the wrong. I know I should dislike both my dad and EM, but I can't get myself to hate my dad. He meant way too much to our lives. Wow. That is terrible. She put down his dog. The brother's dog. That is evil. And locking people up in their rooms? Oh. This is heartbreaking. I think this comment says it the best. This is not an entitled parent. This is a goddamn sociopath. I'm so sorry that you have gone through this, and I don't think anyone should. This is awful. Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well, but I'm speechless. Holy crap. Step-parents are supposed to be parents, and they're supposed to take care of their stepkids, even if they're not biologically yours. You married their parent, and you are now a part of their life, and punishing your kids for just being kids. Damn. Moving on to the next story. Entitled mom demands her 11-year-old daughter to get a pregnancy/drug test. Forewarning, this may be an SFW or graphic for some. Please don't bite my head off, as I am also being vague due to HIPAA. I'm a practicing nurse in both an active clinic as well as ER nurse overnights. My life is hard enough. On with the show. It is a regular Thursday night at the ER. After my first job and the issues I had at the clinic, I am already done with this bull. And I do like to look at myself as I am a good Southern woman. Accent and all. So I am plugging myself in for another 10-hour show. We have the usual revolving door of patients coming in for a busted eardrum, medical referral, and a few ambulances coming in with patients from a nearby old folks' home. Most nights, it's for a urinary tract infection. Fun fact, Most elderly will get aggressive or become disoriented when they have one. Typically, we keep them overnight for observation or let them hang out in the ER for a 3-hour nap. They're just so cute. Most of the time, we can have you in and out within 1 hour and 30 minutes on a good night. Wow, that's good. I don't know what was in the air on this particular night, but things were smooth. We all know we ER staff are always superstitious and just waiting for that one crackhead to roll up for the good feeling. Meds? Cut that. It was just after midnight when a mother and her young daughter walked on up to the registrator. There are like 20 cameras at the nurse's station, so we can see everything. Maybe a little too much at times. Smallma comes in and wants us to take a look at her daughter. The registrator, who is just barely out of high school, inputs her into our medical system and has the patient fill out a basic demographic information that needed for the patient to be seen. Our lovely registrator is seen on the monitor to get up and come back to ask a question. Registrator, nicknamed Nicole. Hey, do we have a victims advocate on staff tonight? Me. No, why? Nicole. Well, this mom is out here claiming her daughter has been essayed, and I would like to be evaluated. Me. Well, we can do the evaluation, but there is no advocate unless I call the authorities. Nicole says a quick thanks and returns to the front. Registers a little girl, approximately 11 years old, into the system to be seen. My MA goes to the triage room, calls them in, and starts doing the preliminary evaluation, then gets them settled in bed 4. Quick note here, our ER is set up like a staple. We can see you in any matter and can get to you in seconds if you begin to code. Once settled in, my MA comes up to me and gives me that one look. You know the look. That mama is crazy. That she was. It's not so much that she's crazy, it's that this mama makes hell for anyone. I get up and go into the room. I greet the mother and teen and ask them what they're here for. EM, entitled mom. My daughter has been essayed. I want her to get all the testing. YG, young girl. Mom, girl pleads. We weren't doing anything. Can we just go home? EM, hush up. She hisses at her daughter. Will this take very long? I need to get some rest before work tomorrow. Me, well, ma'am, I can do any testing or treatment needed. The test times may vary. However, I'll have to speak privately to your daughter and obtain her permission to run some of those tests, as they are very evasive. EM gasps and looks offended. What do you mean? I am her mother. She will give you permission. She will get this testing done. Me. I look at the young girl and begin the basic treatment explanation. So at SA, we would need to run a pregnancy test, a urinalysis, a drug test, and to swab down there to rule out any things. Then we would give X to ward off pregnancy and blank transmission. After all is said and done, if requested for, we would contact the police and have them come in and assist in filling a report. I look at the mom who is absorbed in her cell phone. Would you want to or be able to pee for me? As I reach for one of the urine collecting cups and attempt to hand it to her. YG, embarrassed and probably wanting to hide under a rock. Why, let's just get it over with. Me, sweetie, is this not something you would do? Would you like to talk about it? Yeah. Yes, she will do it. Now get on with it. She spits out at me and her daughter. Me, why don't you tell me what happened? I asked the daughter. I caught my daughter at her friend's party, waves her pointer finger at me. There were boys. There were drinks and illegal medications. You're turning into a real little hussy. Well, I won't let that boy who touched my daughter get away with it. YG, Tyler did no such thing, and it was coke, not alcohol. Mom, can we please just go home? The girl is pleading and near tears. You will get the damn tests done. This mama is yelling at her baby, talking over one another. YG, Mom, can we please just go home? You can't get pregnant or drugged from just talking, please. The girl is pleading, and I'm just standing there. MA next to me by the closed curtains, stunned into a frozen state. You will get that goddamn test done now, Mama is yelling. Thank goodness we don't have any other PTs nearby. YG, we didn't do anything. Why do I have to get the test? The girl is pleading and begins to cry. You'll get the damn test done, even if it means I have to hold you down while they do it, she yells, and the girl begins to cry. Me, now, ma'am, I cannot and will not force your daughter to do anything against her will. What are you saying? You won't have to. I will make her. What, are you not going to treat my daughter? Me, that is not what I said, ma'am. I said your daughter has a right to choose on whether she wants to participate in treatment. I will not force this baby, no matter how old she is, to do any test she does not want. I understand this may be upsetting for you. We were all young and stupid once, but... cuts me off. I said test my daughter now. No, really. This mama begins to turn beet red in the face, huffing and puffing. Me, I'm sorry, ma'am, but at this point, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave or call security and have you removed. I will not be able to assist or help you this evening. With that, I turn, walk out, close the curtains behind, and walk back to the nurse's station. I place a quick call to our security team. The mom comes out from around the curtain and is standing in the hallway, screaming at some poor soul on her phone, blabbing about how she is going to sue the whole hospital and that we are refusing to care for her poor baby that was just essayed by some hoodlum. The security guard comes about the station. I point in the direction and they head over and escort her out. I haven't seen or heard from her since. As a precaution, I did call CPS and have a welfare check done on the young girl. I hope that girl is okay. Well, that is not how you act when you believe your daughter has been essayed and she is not listening to her kid, which is very important because, well, the kid was there, right? And like drinking soda and just relaxing with friends and talking, that's super great for kids. But if you think something went down and you're bringing your kid to the hospital, you need to make sure your kid wants to be there. Alright, well, that's gonna do it for today, and I'll see you guys all next time.